Hi, are you thinking of slow traveling? So are we. But while we're on the road, we need to figure out how to stay in shape and healthy, both physically and mentally. And that's what this video is all about. Hi, and welcome to the Adventures of Dave
and Nikki.
And today we're going to talk about health and slow travel health while we're traveling on the road.
The thing that we want to keep in mind is when we're living a nomadic lifestyle, this is our life. It's not a vacation. So we can't go nuts like we have done in the past on certain vacations and eat all the things and lay around all the time and hope to come back home and get back into shape afterwards. We need to have some discipline on the road. But before we do all that, we plan on getting a baseline, very detailed health assessment, which we learned that we could do at a much lower price in certain countries. In Malaysia and Thailand particularly, you could get very good health care for about a quarter of the price. And we want to share with you 3 different places that we looked at to get an in-depth health screening that we couldn't afford to do at home.
And just as a reminder, we plan to launch in about 8 months from the filming of this video. And so once we get there, that'll be one of our first destinations. We're going to get a baseline health screening like Nikki was talking about at a way reduced rate than what we get here in the States. Figure out kind of where we are, take any action steps if we need to, and kind of go from there.
3 of the places that were recommended to us, particularly in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, where we'll be starting, is Glen Eagle Hospital. Has a comprehensive health screening. Everybody speaks English. You can get everything done in the same day. You can set up your appointment online ahead of time. Also, Prince Court Hospital. We were looking at their packages for about $500 or $600, getting an EKG, ultrasound, mammogram, blood tests, hormone tests, vitamin D level, the whole bit. But a friend of ours recommended another place, Blasono Clinic, also in Kuala Lumpur, and I checked it out, and we're going to go with that. And we'll link to all 3 pages below. Blasono, we're going to get a cardiac stress test, which we're particularly interested in since we're both almost 60.
What?
I know. Can you believe it? All the blood work, all the ultrasound of the whole body, all that done in one day with results. And it's going to cost, right now the price is 1,698 Malaysian ringgit, which comes out to about $378.
Crazy.
I could not do that here in the United States. So we'll put the links to all 3 of them in the description below for you to check them out.
And put a little screenshot right here somewhere of all the services that we're getting for this package for 300 and how much?
378.
378. So you'll see it right about here.
We plan on getting nomadic health insurance a little later this year through an agent, and we'll share those details with you once we have that nailed down. And we plan on finding doctors, clinics, or hospitals through recommendations for friends who already travel, or there's always an expat Facebook group for whatever city you're going through. So there's a lot of people already on the ground living there or who live there a month at a time who can make personal recommendations. And YouTube also, for instance, when we were in Pattaya, Thailand, I got my teeth cleaned at a dentist recommended by one of our favorite YouTubers, and they did a phenomenal job, very professional. It was only $25.
Was it for teeth cleaning? What
teeth
it was?
Cleaning.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll show a little photo of it somewhere. And they were totally professional. She took me by the office for a walk afterwards. We passed by and said hi. And I just can't believe how modern and how well equipped and efficient and professional and knowledgeable the staff is for the cost.
And it's easy. You just email many of these places. You can email to set an appointment or to ask questions.
Right. The next thing we want to talk about is, besides hitting all the doctors and getting a baseline for us, is what we do in our everyday lives. At home, while we're here, we're very disciplined with daily movements, planning to do a workout, to do some part of our body each and every day. And we plan to try to keep that routine while we're on the road. That's one thing we need to remember, is that this is our life now. Once we're slow traveling on the road, we're no longer on vacation and we can't come back and recover. So the things we like to do while we're at home, we continue on the road, for people that are about our age is strength training is highly important, as well as mobility and flexibility of the body. There's been so many studies of just how strength training can help prolong life, both physically and mentally. It'll fight things like Alzheimer's and various types of dementia. So we take that very seriously. We do this by trying to find places, first of all, where we book that has fitness centers, like a gym, where there is like an apartment high-rise or hotels that have fitness centers. And we try to be disciplined enough to hit those every day or as much as we can and kind of fit that into our routine. If a accommodation does not have fitness center, we have learned almost by accident that using water bottles, 5 liters, 10-liter sizes, makes great resistant training devices. And there are a lot of YouTube videos that I was kind of surprised to actually find that has full exercise routine based on that one. It's kind of fun to do, actually, lifting water.
Yeah, so I guess there's no more excuses, huh?
No, not like that. And we also talk about flexibility. So we travel with a yoga mat in my suitcase. A lot of places we stay at has like hardwood floors or like tiles or whatever. And we like to do some stretching upon waking up. So just having your own yoga mat just makes it a little nicer.
Many of the places we travel to have walking built in since we don't rent a car. So walking is just built into our everyday life, and we think it's going to be a healthier lifestyle for us that way. But keeping up the strength and flexibility is important too. When we were in Thailand, I love getting the Thai massages that really helped our body feel good. For me, taking care of my back is important because I do get some thoracic spine pain and neck pain. So what I'm doing from now on that I've learned the hard way is I've increased my luggage size from a carry-on to just the slightly larger one that you would check in, so I can decrease the amount of weight in my backpack. From what I understand from other people, they tend to downsize as we go, and maybe I'll find that happening, but I want to keep some of the weight off my back because I did hurt it on a trip and it wasn't fun.
Yeah, is very sexy to see people traveling with carrying only in a backpack, but we got to do what works for us individually. And our experience so far is that she needs to lighten something on her back, and getting the proper gear and what works for us is what we're working towards.
The next thing is what we eat. And it's very easy to go nuts, especially if we're taking a transatlantic cruise, which we're doing soon, and see all that food. But we need to have some mental discipline. At home, we drink a couple glasses of water first thing in the morning, and we usually start our day with a green smoothie and or some steel-cut oats. On the road, we have a concept called front loading, where we try to get a green juice in the morning or some fresh fruit in the morning. Get the healthy stuff in first before you're tempted by all the other things. I was raised to clean my plate, and sometimes it's very difficult to order something or have some food when you're out traveling and not feel like you don't have to finish it all. So that's another mental game that we have, is that we don't have to eat all the things, but we want to taste all the things.
Exactly. One of the things I've learned recently is just try to eat to about 20%, 80% full. And supposedly that's like a longevity hack. So I'm just trying to work on that one.
It's a Japanese concept.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I forgot how to pronounce it, but the Japanese do a lot of healthy things. So that
maybe I'll put the Japanese word up here somewhere, at least how to pronounce it. I would like to know. I'm sure you guys would too, right?
Right. And we also take advantage of local produce and fresh markets and, buy a lot of the local healthy fruit and vegetables and have some of the fruit in our room for snacks. Yeah. The thing we do is load up on prebiotic food, fermented food, kimchi, yogurt, things like that. Same things we do at home.
Yeah. Depends on the culture. Depending where we are, if we're in like more Asian type countries, we do the kimchis or whatever's available there. If we're more Western type countries, things like sauerkraut or probiotic yogurts, or even they have them in pill forms too now, right?
They do.
Yeah.
One thing that I learned is that most countries have that Yakult probiotic drink. They come in those little tiny bottles. In Indonesia, we just got them at 7-Eleven. So we drink one of those every morning to help build up our defenses against sketchy street food, shall we say.
Gut flora is important.
Gut flora is very important.
What's it called again?
It's called Yakult.
Okay.
In the U.S., it's called Yakult. It looks the same pretty much everywhere. You get a 10-pack or so of these little tiny yogurt drinks, and you just...
I'll get a picture and put it up here somewhere.
Street food. How do we do with that? I'm very fortunate that I have an insensitive stomach. I can eat just about anything. But we do travel with activated charcoal tablets.
Yeah.
You can take those with a meal. Also, there's something called Travelon. It's made of bovine colostrum, and it protects you by, it was explained to me, it goes around and mops up any stray E. coli that might be in there. So just be picky about the street food. Look where all the locals are eating. Look where there's high turnover and they're cooking the food right there on high heat. Avoid places that have the food sitting out at room temperature for a while.
Yeah, in Southeast Asia especially, I have the street food. The ones that are not as popular, they have these like pre-cooked, like fried or whatever, just been sitting out on the plate. We try to avoid places like that, you know.
Right.
Just a good rule of thumb, wherever you are in the world, like where the locals are eating and it's crowded locals, that's the place to be.
Another thing we keep in mind when we're traveling is hydration. Hydration, because you're running around, you're seeing things. Sometimes you don't want to have to find a public restroom, so you're not drinking enough. Hydration will keep away the headaches, will keep away the fatigue. Especially in Southeast Asia and hot climates, the coconut water and the sugarcane juice especially, we find it brings us back to life. We do travel with some electrolytes too.
Electrolyte powders?
Electrolyte powder.
Yeah.
We have a little bit every day. It really helps replenish you.
Yeah, it's about like magic. Sugarcane juice. We were in Bangkok and it was a super hot day and we visited the Grand Palace, a couple hours there, and then we walked to the reclining Buddha attraction, which is like a 15-20 minute walk, but it was like 98 degrees and it's just humid. And I wasn't feeling that great during that walk. And halfway there was like a sugarcane street vendor juice, and we bought a couple of them, and I just pounded it. And I swear within like 30 seconds, I was like a new person. That stuff is just magical. So stay hydrated. All right, the next thing we do on the road to try to stay healthy is sleep. Sleep is the foundation of overall wellness. If you're not sleeping well, almost nothing else you do matters. I mean, you guys know how it is. Like after a good night's sleep, you can take over the world. If you don't get one, you don't feel that way. I mean, going to sleep is literally emptying the trash out of your brain every night. I'm not a great sleeper. So I've actually gone pretty deep on this topic by reading, listening to podcasts, and just really keeping in mind and practicing quality sleep hygiene. So a few of the things I do is to try to get some morning sunlight into my retina that kind of resets my rhythm for the day, circadian rhythm for the day. And I use earplugs at night when I'm trying to sleep, definitely on planes. I travel with eye mask. And I think, Nikki, you bring some melatonin along with some, as like a sleep aid sometimes, just some relaxation.
Some melatonin just for the first few days when we're catching up with the jet lag.
Yeah. That really makes a big difference. Yeah. Quality sleep is important stuff.
Another thing is mosquito protection. You want to protect yourself from mosquitoes wherever you go. And just be aware of mosquito-prone areas. If you're going to an area with a lot of disease, we are avoiding dengue-prone areas.
Yeah.
We haven't gone anywhere really heavy duty, like with yellow fever or anything that we have to get special shots for yet.
Yeah.
But just research the area you're going and be aware of what's there.
Yeah.
We do travel with a little bit of a first aid kit. Just a couple things, antibiotic ointment, some Advil, A couple doses of your favorite cold medicine. I caught a cold in Bali, and it was an adventure trying to figure out what cold medicine to get. The area we're in, there wasn't a lot of English speaking. I finally found a pharmacist counter, and they helped me pick something out. But just a, simple decongestant, it can become complicated when you're not feeling well. So just have the first 1 or 2 doses in your bag ready to go.
Yeah, stuff that you use at home that you're familiar with. So when you feel something coming on, just do what feels right for you at home and then figure out from there.
Right.
Okay, and the last thing we want to talk about in regards to health, everything we talked about so far was physical health.
Mm-hmm.
But being healthy mentally when you're traveling is just as important, and every bit as challenging. Yeah, usually out of your routine, you're no longer at home. And sometimes being on the road, there are different types of stresses. Maybe you're dealing with some homesickness or some grief of leaving your home or loss of friends. Even though you will make new friends on the road, those feelings are very real. And so we just try to practice daily things like gratitude listing. Journaling is a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
We try to squeeze in some meditation on a daily basis, usually in the morning with some coffee time.
Yeah, meditation and quiet time is important for us at home too. Just a little bit to reset your mind so that we're not always go, go, go all the time, and having a couple rest days like every 4th day or so.
Yeah.
A little bit of a slower day.
Right. Again, this is our life now, it's not vacation. So rest days are planned in. We're not touristing and running around seeing sights all the time because you get burnout is very, very real. We're just starting out. So once we launch, I think we'll figure out our pattern and rhythms of how fast or slow we move from one location to the next. And we're not afraid to adjust and kind of keep a pulse on what's working and what's not working for us, right? Yeah. And a lot of that comes down to communication between each other.
Right.
And that's definitely something that one of our future videos will be about.
We hope this video has been helpful to you. Please like and subscribe and come along with us on our next adventures. We'll be doing a transatlantic soon.
Thanks for hanging out. Bye.
Bye.